Well, these are certainly sensitive political times in America right now, and I'm absolutely delighted to be joined by the ASA's Treasurer, Patricia Volland. Patricia, welcome.
My pleasure.
Great to have you on the show. Thank you very much. Now, Patricia, what are some of the issues, what are some of the challenges facing Americans as they get older?
This is a very critical time in America for older adults. Social Security, Medicare, the ability to really stay independent and be in charge of your lives in relation to health care as well is really at risk here because of the political climate and the inability at this point to know whether there's enough security to be able to continue, for older adults to continue to be in charge of their lives. It's very, very frightening.
So these are tense political times right now. Do you think old Americans are more at risk, if you like?
Oh, I absolutely do. You know, so many Americans have contributed to Social Security all their lives. They've been very aware that Medicare is going to be available to them. And so now both of those, if you will, security blankets are at risk for not being available to them at a time when they're not really necessarily able to go back in the market and continue to earn a living for themselves.
Are these tensions particularly critical because this is a presidential year?
Always at a presidential election time, but this is really more critical than most because one part of the political sphere very much wants to totally change Medicare and Social Security. There's great hope that the court on that side will, if you will, repeal the new Affordable Care Act. And so having any sense of security is really at question.
These are all good reasons why a conference like this, why the ASA conference is so important, isn't it?
This conference has had a couple of, I think, really important conversations. One of them yesterday morning was a conversation about the current economic climate in the U.S. and about these same challenges I was talking about. And if you will, both sides of the argument were there and really gave us all, I think, an opportunity to understand really just how uncertain this environment is. And the other part is, you know, there are 6,000 members of ASA, and I think over 3,000 of them have been able to come here. And the ability to network and learn from each other, and also to form coalitions in order to, you know, more effectively address these challenges, I think, is really, really important. And this conference actually has, if you will, those of us who are on the ground really trying on a day-to-day basis to be effective with older adults and their needs.
It's great everybody's come together, but what are the takeaways? What are you going to take away from this conference that's going to impact your everyday life?
Even in spite of the challenges that exist, one of the great things about the ASA conference is that you really do learn that there are a lot of opportunities out there, that people are trying new ways to work with older adults, and that older adults themselves are becoming much more active and vocal in if you will, finding for themselves and addressing their needs. So there's a lot of hope and a lot of opportunity, I think, to continue to be helpful with older adults and find new ways to be helpful.
Patricia, thank you very much indeed for joining us. That was such a thought-provoking interview. Thank you.
Thank you. My pleasure.